Hello readers and writers, I'm MJ and it's time for the end of the year book tag. So no one tagged me in this and I saw it going around on BookTube and wanted to really jump in and participate, so I am absolutely going to be doing that. So the first question are there books that you have started that you need to finish? And for this I'm going to say no. There's not specific books that I started that I need to finish. In fact, some of the ones I started and it's like, oh, maybe I'll pick them up later, I'm probably going to officially DNF them. There's just too many things I want to read books that are not of interest to me any longer. However, there are goals that I made for 2023 that I do need to finish. My goal is to read 12 Brandon Sanderson books. I'm really close to that, but I'm kind of running out of books of his to read. I think really all I have left is the last Mistborn trilogy. So I need to pick up at least the first book in that trilogy. But we will see. Also, I'm trying to read 23 indie books in 2023. I think at last count I was at 18, but I've definitely read more. I've definitely read more towards that. In October I read at least 2 indie books, and I've read a few in November already. So I'm inching closer to the 23, but I definitely want to read more indie books to reach that mark or not. We'll see if that happens. The second question is, are there any autumnal books that to transition to the end of the year? And maybe this tag really should have been answered a little bit earlier, because I think I've already read all my autumnal transition books in October, and now that we're in November, I'm kind of like over that, I guess. I've read kind of more my gothic and just even a few horror books. There is one book I want to read, After the Forest, that to me kind of has like a transition to winter vibes, and even though I don't think it necessarily should for other people, it's a Hansel and Gretel retelling that is about witch hunters, and it's probably going to be very gothic, very potentially bloody, where they're going to go get the witch that captured Hansel and Gretel, or get a witch that captured Hansel and Gretel. But for me, there's just something about it that still gives me very winter vibes, so this is a book that I want to read to transition into winter, I guess. I don't think I have a lot of seasonal reads, especially I don't feel like science fiction and fantasy, maybe more fantasy, but science fiction specifically, I don't know, it doesn't usually give me seasonal vibes. New releases that you are still waiting for. Not specifically. I think most of the new releases that came out in 2023, I didn't find a whole lot to the end of the year, so I'm really looking forward to the ones in 2024. But there are 2 that I have arcs for that come out in November and December. One is Critical Habits and the others is Yours for the Taking. So I do definitely need to read both of those books. And so the next question is, are there 3 books that you want to read by the end of the year? And I admit it was kind of hard for me to narrow this down because there's so many books I want to read by the end of the year. But one is Fanfiction by Brett Spiner. This is a nonfiction book that I'm telling about a fan that maybe becomes a little bit too obsessed, and this just seems like a fun read, and so I really want to pick it up. So I want to finish Witch King. I really am enjoying this book, and I only put it down because it was taking me longer to read, and that is a really not great reason to not finish a book. So I definitely want to finish reading Witch King, which I guess this could have worked for the first question, is there any book that you need to finish? Now that I'm thinking about it, I guess that would actually also be Witch King. Yeah, whatever. And then the third book I want to pick up is Where Peace is Lost. This is a book that obviously I have a paper arc for. Oh, no, it's actually a final copy of. This is a book that came out in, I want to say March, but I may be wrong. It was definitely an anticipated science fiction release, and I haven't picked it up yet. This is when the publisher sent me a final copy of it, and so I really want to get to this before the end of the year. So the fifth question is, are there books that could shock you and be your favorite book of the year? And honestly, I don't know moving forward. So I'm having a really robust November reading month. We'll see how the month continues. None of them, well, that's not true. I read Yellowface, and that's definitely a strong contender for best book of the year, or at least to be on the list. The biggest shocker for me was actually, I have a YA thriller book that is author published that called Lucky Penny. And while I knew I was going to like the writing of the book, y'all know I'm not that big into YA, and so I wasn't anticipating this book becoming a favorite. And so I don't think it's going to be my favorite book of the year. It definitely is going to be on the list, and I think for me that's the biggest shock, because it's YA, but it was so good and I really enjoyed it, and I'm so anticipating the sequel to, that I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. And you definitely should go pick it up. So, is it possible that some of these other books could then become my favorite book of the year? Yes. I don't know if they will. It's going to be hard to top the books that I already know are my favorites. So we'll see. There's still time left in the year, and I'm still not sure what my top books are going to be. It's going to be hard to pick them all, so, but fun also. Alright, the last question is, have you started having reading plans for next year? And yes, I have. So I'm going to be making official videos on both of these, but two of my biggest plans is, so for 2023, you know, it was the year of Brandon Sanderson. He did this whole thing where he, you know, released special editions of his secret novels, and then also sent like swag boxes and stuff. And so, while like that will never be a thing again, I kind of still want to keep the year of fame and focus on an author each year moving forward. And so for 2024, my author is going to be Ursula K. Le Guin, and so I'm going to read at least 12 of her novels in 2023. Focusing mostly on 2 of the series that she's released, and I'm very excited about that. I will of course release an official announcement video as we get closer, probably sometime in December. And the other thing is that in 2023, as I've mentioned, I am hosted a 23 and 23 readathon where you read 23 indie books in 2023, and I hosted it before I had a YouTube, and I know some people have participated, but I want to make it more of a thing in 2024, so I'm going to do an official announcement video for that, where I'm going to, for now, I think I'm going to do 24 and 24, and I don't know, at some point that's going to have to stop, but we'll see when it's going to stop. Apparently not at 24. And I'm going to make an official announcement video of that for people to join in. It's going to be a year-long readathon where we focus on reading and celebrating indie works. I want to do update videos to it and have it be more of a thing as we move forward. And then also, I already have a series called Your Next Indie Read. Definitely want to do more outreach to indie authors to try and get more of them on my channel so that people can find their next indie read. So those are two things that I am working on for 2024 that I will be creating official announcement videos on, but there's a sneak peek for you. So yeah, I hope this was a fun little book tag. I enjoyed doing it and kind of seeing where I am in my reading and giving me something to focus on as we end the year, which still is blowing me away. So, as always, keep writing, keep reading, and until next time.